We tend to stick to English saints because that's what we're about as Mary's Dowry, but in late 2010 someone suggested that we produce something on Blessed Alexandrina Maria de Costa. Now this was very interesting, the way it came about, because one day a little booklet on Blessed Alexandrina arrived in our PO box address, and I opened the envelope, I'll never forget it, pulled it out and was confronted with a photograph of Alexandrina. It was amazing for me because when I was 14 years old I had a great devotion to this blessed. It was like totally meant to be, and we spoke to this person, Kevin, who had suggested that we produce something on her, and it was basically, she's very, very important, but there's nothing on her. There's a couple of booklets, and that's it really. So he suggested, why not use our knowledge and experience in DVD to put something together on her that people can encounter. We're quite open and enthusiastic to suggestions, so when Kevin suggested we produce something on Blessed Alexandrina, we said okay, yeah, we'll do that, this seems really guided and very important, we're willing to do it. We thought, okay, we'll try and do it as a documentary, maybe even fly out to Balazar in Portugal and film the locations relevant, maybe interview some people, but for various reasons this seemed impossible. And then we thought, okay, we'll use what we know, we'll use our original style, Mary's Dowry Productions style of portrayals and narration, and do it that way. So we booked a day in the barn to film, and got all prepared and all set to do it. Only thing is, we had no actor to play Alexandrina. She's Portuguese, long dark hair, very specific face, and we had no one like that in our core group of people who help us out. But we thought we'll book it anyway and we'll leave it to Our Lady, and if it's meant to be, someone will come along. A few weeks prior to the date, and we were getting a bit worried, my dad took his van in for an MOT, and whilst it was being done, he popped into the local church to visit the Blessed Sacrament. And whilst he was in there, there was a girl that we've known for many years called Agnes. She's Korean, and she had happened to see one of our productions on EWTN. So she came over to my dad and said, I just found out what you're doing, I'd love to be involved, I'll help, I'll make teas and coffees, clean up, anything, just let me know. So Dad told us, and all of a sudden everything fell into place. Agnes is actually pretty much identical to Alexandrina. She may be Korean, but if you look at her and compare her to a photograph of Alexandrina, they're very, very similar. So we thought, okay, it's meant to be, let's ask Agnes. And she agreed, quite nervously, but she came along, and for the morning it was just my sister, myself and Agnes filming. And we had some scenes to do. Alexandrina's story is extremely powerful. She was paralysed from the age of 14, but one thing I found absolutely fascinating when I had a devotion to her when I was young was that she used to kind of live out the passion of our Lord on Fridays for a period of time, and she was completely paralysed. She couldn't even move, she was in such agony, but on a Friday she would get up in an ecstasy out of bed and walk around. And we thought, wouldn't it be amazing to portray this, because it's very, very fascinating. So we were portraying some scenes of this Passion with Agnes, and all of a sudden we heard a huge crash and lots of screaming outside, and there was a car crash just outside the church we were filming, and no one was hurt, but there was a real atmosphere, and we thought, okay, we'll just continue. The whole Passion was filmed with sirens and screams, and there was a real atmosphere. At the same time, my dad was doing some church restoration for an Anglican vicar in Kent, and the vicar had lent him a statue to restore and paint up, and we had it in our kitchen, and Dad was working on it. We were planning some scenes for Alexandrina film, and we were looking at some photographs of Alexandrina's house, and we thought, that statue is in this photograph. It's a very specific statue that we'd never seen before, and if we'd wanted to include it in a scene we wouldn't know how to go about it, but Dad Contacted the vicar and asked permission to use it in a film, and he said yes. So just the period of time that it was in our house before being restored and sent back was the period of time that was our filming day for Alexandrina. So we were able to take it up carefully, put it in the production for these scenes of her bedroom, and then give it back. And it was just things like that happen all the time with Mary's Dowry productions, and it's very, very exciting.